Hello, thank you for tuning in. My name is Larry Duncan Allen, and this is No More What. Bye next time. For a while, I've been talking about Trump and the government and what's been going on with us, with them. But tonight, I want to talk about us. Because we have some things to get prepared for because they're not done with us yet. It's really us who they want. It just is, it's so tricky with them because of the way we were brought here. And have citizenship. So it's a bit tricky, but they're going to try to find a way around it. But the reason I want to talk about us is that when I look on social media, all I see is fighting. Why do you all post that stuff? Do you know people have the thing? I know people say, "Well, that's them, that's not me." All of us are a part of that ethnic image. So, like all Chinese have an ethnic image, white people, when you think of a racist, egotistic, supremacist, don't you think of a white man? So we have an ethnic image also. And all we see is fighting all over the place. I know a lot of those fights are not real, you know, but some of them are. A lot of them are made by bots in other countries that keep sowing discourse here. And they send them to white people more than black people. You know, more white people be on the post talking about it, say stuff about us than black people do. But it's good how the black people just simply ignore them. But no, but this is going too far because a lot of this is real now. 'Cause I tell you, because if it was real, I've never seen one until 2 weeks ago. I've never seen one of those fights in person. I haven't. If it's going on all the time, I've been around black people all my life. I should have seen something. But you know what happened? There's some women out there, fat as usual. And they was out there fighting, they was jumping on this one woman. It looked like they was kicking her and hitting her. And you know what I found out later? It was all fake. They did it just to make a video. And that's what many people are doing. Look at what happens. How you gonna hit somebody in the face? You hit them in the face 15, 20 times, even 10 times. You never see any swelling, no eyes black. No one's ever injured. And some of those people, it look like they're taking a savage beating. But they're never injured because most of it's not real. A lot of it's not even made in this country. Now a lot of those fights they're sending over here are African fights. Those fights on the cruise ships. Now, I know a lot of white people fight on cruise ship also, but it's not a part of their ethnic image. There is a lot of fighting going on with black people, especially black women on those cruise ships. And those people are not going to keep putting up with that, and I don't blame them. You see, other people can't value us when we don't value ourselves, and we don't. Most of us don't even like each other. Just be honest. We don't even like each other. That's why black men and women can't get along too good. If you notice, black women treat black men the same way that white supremacists treat white people. And it's part of that ideology. I mean, I know better, and sometimes I have to catch myself. Look at the stuff we say behind the closed doors. We talk about us worse than a white supremacist does. And we wonder why they talk like that. And you know what? I can tell you how we hate each other. You see how when white people see a black person coming, they get suspicious, wonder what he up to. Black folks do that too. You saw when the white cop come at some black guys, they come out at going full speed right at them. Black folks do that too. When they got some, we don't even, if it's some, excuse me, you won't even try to come and discuss it with them. You ready to fight before you even discuss stuff with folks. And we don't know how to de-escalate. All we know how to do is escalate. And if one try to de-escalate, you won't let them because you think they're scared. No, they just don't want to fight. Everybody's not fighters. I haven't been in a physical altercation in 40 years. Don't want to get in one. But don't nobody want to get in me one now because I ain't got too old. I don't do no hand fighting no more. So don't come at me. But look, I used to do it. And when I was in school, I did hand fighting. I'm standing there, eye swelled up, jaw swelled up, lip busting. Just about, ooh, Duncan, you won. I won? Sure don't feel like I won. Because he was messed up more than I was. But that wasn't helping me none. Didn't help my healing. But we have to stop all this fighting. And this gun toting, you think you're doing something smart. I heard the ones in Chicago talking about, yeah, let the National Guard and the Marines come here. We ready for them. No, you're not. Those people trained killers. You know what you trained at? Holding your pistol sideways. That's silly. You got to shoot 10 times to hit somebody 10 feet away holding your pistol like that. That's why you almost have to empty the clip. They know where they're going to hit you and going to hit you with one shot. So how you got a chance? You know what the best thing to do? The best type of confrontation to do? None. You know they're coming? Try to stay out the streets as much as you can. That's the best thing to do. That don't make you no little, like can't say that word on that I get flagged for it. That don't make you no little PUNCK, no PUNK. It means you being smart. Yeah, get off the streets and and try not to even getting in a confrontation with them. I tell you why. The only reason they're coming is because they took all type of programs, everything from us. We took it and smiled. They don't see anything they can do to provoke us. There's all these protests. All they're doing is dragging. I mean, they to the place now. They dragging white women, beating white men and women. If you think they're beating them, what do you think you have coming? They don't see us. So now they figure they have to come to us because we're not coming to them. That's the strategy. Stay home. Why you going to hang out? Come on, you're not 18. What you doing hanging out? Tell your kids stay home. They had a thing the other night in D.C. Bunch of kids having some stuff. The police get up. Why you let your kids go out into that? Why would your kids be that stupid to go? Because these weren't no little kids. These were like high school age kids. In high school, you got reasoning. You know what's going on. Stay away. Stay home as much as you can. You like to be on your devices anyway. You can do that at home. Just ride this out. And I'm going to tell you right now, all these guns you carrying, taking pictures of, that's why I took this picture here. You're taking all those pictures with your guns. How many bullets you got? How many bullets you got for that gun? Because you're going to need a lot of them. And see, the same way you talking about, you around here killing up each other. What you going to do when they come after our people? And they do come to that. Probably going to run and hide. See, we don't do to other people what they do to us, what we do to each other. Tell you why. That's part of that thing of not valuing us. I'm going to get off into that a little later also. See what happens is when black people do something to us, we deal with them right then and there. Put some ouching on them. Sometimes even go a little too far. But when these other people do stuff to us, we get strategic. Be satisfied with an apology. I'ma stand there, messed up, and all you gotta do is apologize to me? No, I'ma mess you up. Then you wanna say, oh, I'm gonna apologize for hitting you first. Cause I'm not gonna apologize for hitting you second. You know, I gave this story before about this Asian man in a beauty supply shop. He punched a black woman in the mouth. You know what? So the black guys, they got together boycott. So we're gonna boycott this store. The Asians put a 50% sale out. Everything had put out a 50% sale sign. Everything in the store half off. The black women was lined up to get in there. Boycott over. Their hair, their makeup and stuff, hair and makeup and so whatever they were getting, is worth more than their ethnic pride. We sell out for cheap. And see, you know what? The reason I say that, if that had been a black man's store, and he hit that woman in the mouth, her father, her brothers, her boo, her husband, whoever, they coming up there and deal with him, and they gonna tear his store up. But when it comes to these other people, we scared. We gotta get so strategic all of a sudden. Do to them what you would have done to a black man or a black woman. Do to them the same thing you would have done to the black person. But we scared of everybody else. There was another Asian. There was this Asian had hit a black boy with his car, and there was this woman was there holding the skull together. He ended up surviving, and there was black women out there, and they were saying he ran into his store, and they never said what happened to him, and so the woman came out and said, "You black bees, get away from here." She's out there picketing and she want the woman to apologize. F an apology. Those people need to be put out of business. And I don't mean by no boycott. They ran over that boy violently. Boycott's not gonna get it all. Sometimes we gotta take it to them. Oh, I might get in trouble for this, but it's out there now. We always talking about good trouble. Comes to that sometime. Oh, you tell them boys going to jail. They're going to jail anyway for some stupid stuff. When it comes to something about your people, I'm not going to jail. I don't want to go to jail. But you'll go to jail over some more silly stuff. See, you have to start valuing your own people the way you value everyone else. See, you go and bust the head of a black shop owner because you don't value them and tear their shop up because you don't value them. But you go picket an Asian shop owner because you value them. If you value the black man or black woman, I'm gonna say black people. I don't like separating black men and women. Because when they come after us, they're not coming for black women. They're not coming for black men. We need to cut that foolishness out. They're coming for black people. But we got to value black people. Not the same as we do each other, as we do others, more than we do others. Because see, when somebody come at us, we know those others are not going to help us. We know we're going to need our people. But how your people going to help you Black people find it hard to even just speak to each other. Don't even want to make eye contact. Jerk our heads away from each other. That's why I say when those women, why come the men didn't break it up? These same women walk by me like I don't even exist. And she's not a damsel in distress. She out there boxing. That's what she want to do. I'm not getting involved in that mess. What if somebody had went and got involved in that mess with those women got hurt and found out they were just faking, the ones I told you about earlier, that they were just faking it. I help ladies. I don't help gorillas. See, if you want men to be gentlemen, you got to be ladies. Somebody was trying to snatch your purse or something like that, that's different. But you want to go out there and box, you made your decision. That's what you want to do. So that's why we got to cut all that foolishness out. Cause look, you see all this stuff they doing, those Latinos? That's not who they really want. They want us so bad, but they just don't know what to do yet. But don't think they're not thinking of something. See, that's why I say FBA's on my title. Many people are now calling us foundational Black Americans. You know why they're saying that? We were in the founding of this nation. See, a lot of people say they thought we were immigrants. How can you immigrate to another country? When we came here, this wasn't a nation. That's why we helped build it. And all those slaves that came over, there were no people running through the jungle with bones in their nose. A lot of them were scientists, doctors, and knew agriculture. The white folks didn't even know how to plant rice. They had to come show them how to plant rice. They didn't know how to smelt iron and certain iron material. They had to show them that. Look it up. You can look it up right now. It tells you what skills did the African slaves bring to the United States. And lazy? How can we be lazy with a $2.3 million spending economy? You see, you don't have that kind of money being lazy. That's more than a lot of nations. And I said spending. That's not all. They're expecting it to go up. I don't know with Trump and the way I'm not sure because everything's going down for most people. But you don't have that being lazy. I tell you who's lazy. I'm gonna get back to my subject in a minute. I tell you who's lazy. The ones who were so lazy to do any work they had to go all the way to the other side of the world to get someone to do their work. They were so lazy they couldn't build their own buildings. They was living in cabins until these people came, showed them how to smelt the iron and make those plantations. Well, that's why you see how every plantation they had this, who did they say built it? Remember that one burnt down we was clowning about? Oh, my ankle is itching. The one that we were clowning, laughing about. What did it say? It was built by slaves. The White House, built by slaves. The infrastructure of Washington, D.C. and most of the South, built by slaves. Even in the North, the slaves were paid, small wages. They weren't slaves. No, I mean not the slaves, the black people. But they did most of the building up there. The only time the white man started doing some farm work and building is with the invention of machines that were the slaves' invention, but they got it patented. Because slaves couldn't get patents. And see, the slaves thought if they helped them out, maybe they let them go. They didn't know who the diabolical people that they were dealing with. Okay, when it came time, when black people stopped doing farm work, did the white folks get out there and do it? No, they were too lazy. They went and got the immigrants and the Mexicans to start doing it. They were paying them, but that was like their new slaves. Now that they're gone, you see they calling for black people to go out there? We're not going out there. But do you hear anybody calling for white people to go? No. They know that they're too lazy. See, the type of fruit that need to be picked, it has to have humans doing it. See, the black farmers are still doing vibing and going well because I'm gonna get back on subject, but I have to say this. They're doing well because they didn't get the subsidies to get rich off the soybeans and all like the white farmers did. Matter of fact, they couldn't even get the loans. And what they meant for bad turned out for good because, see, the black farmers are not losing the farms or the equipment because since they couldn't get loans, they had to pay cash for everything, little at a time. That's why they're not in debt. And you know what the white farmers are saying? They had to go burn the black farmers' farm down. See how these people haven't changed? Don't that sound like Tulsa? Don't that sound like Rosewood and all those other towns, all those cowboy towns black people had out west they burnt down when they saw black people was doing good? They want to burn their economy down. They haven't changed. When it came time, I'm gonna show you something else he did. Show you how lazy they are. When it was time to build the railroad, who built that? They went and got the Chinese to do that. They've never done any hard work. If you notice, every time you see a white man on a job, they're building or doing something, look at all the tools he got. He couldn't have done it without all those tools. Black people had to do that stuff without tools. Back-breaking work. When they used to have to carry the bricks, they used to have this V-shaped thing they had to carry bricks on their shoulders. They had to get the black man to do it. The white man couldn't do it. Now they have machines to do it. So don't listen to that lazy. So we work harder than anyone. We just don't want to do what they want us to do. See, we're lazy when we want to do what they want us to do. If you notice, we was never called lazy when we was working for free. But see, but that's why I say, but getting back to my subject, see, I tell you what, many of us, think about us on many things. See, we came up under the same ideology that they did. We listened to the same stuff they listened to. White good, black bad. See, when I was little coming up, I lived mostly around black folks, and I'm glad I did. And by the way, where I lived at, I remember we moved on the street when I was 5 years old. It's an all black neighborhood now. We didn't put locks on our doors till I was 11. None of the folks in the neighborhood did. No break-ins, no robberies, none that I know of. So don't let people think we bad people. And I can tell you when the badness came. I'll get to that later. Where it should start changing. Okay. When I went to school, in our textbooks, there was nothing about black people. But you didn't realize it at that time because you was a kid in school. And they weren't teaching you this stuff at home. They didn't teach about slavery at home. So I didn't know anything about it. So so what they did, they only had one black person in the book, in those textbooks. And that was this damn fool named Crispus Attucks, who was the first person to die. Was it the Revolutionary War or the War of Independence? It was the Revolutionary War. I don't know. These folks have fought so many wars. But he's the only one that I heard of gonna die for them white folks. They probably I don't like to go by probabilities, but this is just me saying this. They may have stepped all over his body. Threw him in the sea, didn't even bury him. That would be like them. But look, I didn't find out about slavery until I got in high school. Isn't that pitiful? Because black folks didn't teach it at home. And you remember when the movie Roots came out And black people, even the people who knew about slavery, were real angry because even though they knew about it, they didn't know the depths of it, how cruel and evil that it was. Because the people who told us about it, most of the time they only scratched the surface. They didn't know about how white folks, used to take black people's hair to stuff their mattress with, call them and then cut their hair to stuff their mattress. Use some black people's skin to make certain uh, items. See, a lot of people don't know about that. That's why I got this woke thing. They don't want white people to know about it. Cause when white people start, it'll get to the place where the white people will go to some white rally, the kids going to a Black Lives Matter rally. They were waking up. That's why they started that woke thing. You see, what happened was we came up in the ideology that I had a little case of shingles. That's what I'm doing. I'm just getting over it. That's why I'm kind of rubbing and scratching a little bit. I never thought I'd catch it. They say it's in everybody, but I first time I remember being sick. It was bad on me because you're not never in pain, never sick. It's bad on that's why you may see me do a little rubbing sometimes. Probably tomorrow it probably done. But look the yeah, but we came up under the same ideology, same white supremacist ideology that they came up under. When I was coming up, we had black doctors in our neighborhood living next to people who's on welfare, and they had no problems with each other. And I'm gonna tell you about welfare back when I come back. I gotta come back to that. But look, they so and then most of the time we saw a white person, we had to go to them for some services, which made you think, oh, all white people smart. And you mostly saw them in a business setting. See, that's why when during slavery, they wouldn't let the slaves leave the farm because they didn't want them to see all those poor white people. They wanted to make them think all white people were supreme. And if they did see a poor white person, they bring that poor white person in and made them one of the slave masters to keep that image going. But see, the house slaves saw them because they went into town sometimes. And they would told them they better not say anything. They did anyway. But then what happens is we went under that same ideology. That white is supreme. One time we saw white people that was on trucks fixing our streets, doing all type of work that you never saw a black man doing. So what do you think that does to a person's mind, seeing that coming up from children? I didn't see you know what? I was a grown man before I saw a black man driving a tractor trailer. And that was after I had moved to Los Angeles. In this area, you didn't see that. I had to move all the way to Los Angeles to even see that. Did you know that we have so we came up we always saw good white, bad black. That's why I don't blame a lot of our people. I'm not playing a blame game. 'Cause like I said, I have to check myself sometimes. I know better. I've learned. I've been looking it up and learning, but even still now, sometimes I have to check myself because it's not easy to shake something off that you grew up in. It's not easy to shake it off. You just can just try to do better every day. So now that's why we get to the place where we just about treat each other the same way the other folks treat us. We see them places, we speak to them, we see each other. We don't even want to speak to each other, especially men and women. When we barely don't even speak to each other. I'm supposed to defend you. You jerk your head and turn your eyes away every time you see me. And if I do say something to you, you think I'm hitting on you. See, you're in my place. I'm gonna tell you about what happens here. In my place. And this goes for men and women. So I don't think I'm just messing with women, because men, I got something for you too, because you do the same thing. In a different way though. I got to tell my experience that I see. I have meeting up here. Sometimes it be, through, I done had through Chinese people, and I have white women, and black women, different people, because this is a big area I got. And I got 10 other rooms in the back. 5 of them I don't even use. But look, um, you should see the difference. I wish I could videotape and let you see the difference in the different women when they come in to meet me. 90%, if not 100% of black women, they say this is the owner, Duncan. Turn their head away. But a lot of them sit here for 2 hours, never speak to me, never even look at me, and knowing I run the place. And then they wonder why they don't come back. Every last one of the white women and the other women other than black, they come in and smile and speak to me. And they engage in conversation. And I'm not trying to hit on anybody, this is business. I had one woman, I was over at the high school, we was out over there filming something. And we were all sitting at the table together. So I didn't want to just sit at the table and everybody just don't say nothing to each other. I started talking to her about the program. I said something, she said something, and I was talking. I know she turned away, didn't say anything else. If she got out there in the auditorium, I could tell she was talking to me. If you want me, I make 6 figures. I do this, I do that. Mama, didn't I don't nobody want you? I was just trying to have a casual conversation since we all sitting at the table. And this happens just about every time. Now she had to be every bit of 350 pounds. So I wouldn't care if you made 8 figures. What makes you think I don't? But look, she came and said, and she did. Uh, we had another program. She was there. I didn't know, but she said the same stuff. Woman, you a big round ball. Why would I want you? I wouldn't care how much you make. I don't need anybody's money. I make my own money, especially a woman's money. And you guys, let me tell you something. You ought to do it too with these women. When these women come up in these stores and you see them coming up in there to buy stuff, that's that woman going to come in there and buy what she want to buy. You got to hit on every woman you see. And you know she going to talk mean to you. But it's like as though you like it or something. And I see a lot of them attitude when they come in. They know you're going to bother them. So I'm like, oh, I hope they leave me alone. And they're usually right. Because you usually bother them. A lot of these women got who they want. Are they married? When they say leave them alone, leave them alone. Just turn that around. Here's this woman that wants you that you just don't want. And she won't leave you alone. That would be nerve wracking. Well, turn it back around. But it do happen to the women more often though. That some man won't leave her alone. It happens to them more often. But I say that to say this though, we don't value each other. We don't even know how to engage each other just in casual conversation. We think everybody, time somebody talk to us, they hitting on us. But you can tell by the gauge of the conversation if somebody hitting on you or not. And if they do turn it that way, just let them know. But a lot of times you can be mean to some very people you may need to want to get to know. But many of the women, the men who they marry, they'll tell you, I didn't even like him at first. He didn't even interest me. Well, not like, but he didn't even interest me at first. Because if you look, see, when you're looking for some big fine stuff, but he's cute, he's fine, you're mostly looking for romance. And romance usually don't lead to marriage. I don't think too many of us thinking about marriage anymore anyway. Looking at the statistics. But look, but we have to start valuing each other and quit leave each other alone when we want to be left alone, men and women. Just try to show each other respect. I hear a lot of people say, "Well, you gotta deserve respect." No, no, you gotta earn respect. See, black people, we do everything backwards from the rest of the world. Excuse me. That's why we have a lot of problems. No, you don't have to earn respect. I give every human being respect. Now, what they have to earn is my disrespect for me not to respect them. See how backwards we are? I hear a lot of black folks saying that. Now, you got to earn respect. No. I see a brother walking down the street. Why should I have disrespect for him? And he got to earn my respect when I don't even know him. That's backwards. That don't even make sense. I show him respect as a brother, but he don't have to earn that. But he have to earn my. But what he does, and how he perform, he can earn my disrespect. He don't have to earn my respect. See, we do a lot of things backwards like that. You know what? Another thing we got to do, we have to learn how to start following the rules. See, one thing that happened to us here, that we did this back in the 60s, 53 million of us. It was now it's over 50, getting close to 60. Now it's 43 million because so many 28 million was aborted. And, the majority of black men don't have children, regardless of what people say. The majority is 51 or over, 51 percentage or over. And I can show you that. I can tell you about it. You can look it up yourself. They say all these men out here making all these babies. No, they're not. You having babies by the same few men. I will get back to that later. But look, the what was I talking about? I lost my train of thought. What was since I was on that about the what was that talking about? I tried to think of so much at one time. The hmm. Sometimes I think about so much at one time. Sometimes I get ready to say my next thought before I even finish the first one. But I start on that then. See, going by statistics, we're doing poorly because we're doing everything backwards. Oh, I was talking about the rules. See, we don't have any rules. See, when we first came, and this is where I left off at. Bear with me. When we don't have. We are the largest group of people in the world who haven't set up ethnic groups among each other. You know that? Because we don't set up rules. People always talk about black culture. What culture? What black culture we got? The way you wear, fix your food, your clothes, that's a part of a culture. Cultures is supposed to set your standard of operation, rule the way you operate. We don't have that. What rules of operation do we have? None. That's why everybody do what they want to do. And then somebody sit there and say, and nobody better not say that because you're not used to following any rules. I have people come up here and they do certain things that tell them to say, everything done in here is copyrighted. So I'm at my desk now, but I got my main green screen studio. My other studio, I do things at some time, and when I get, and I got a fireplace or whatever. When I get it, we finish, and it get cold. I'm gonna do some fireside chats, and and what happens is they come up here and they want to take pictures. I tell them, look, everything up in here, this is a copyrighted area. Can no one take pictures or video up in here except for me or who I give permission to, and I didn't give you permission. Instead of them asking for permission, they get mad, want to grumble, and then some of them still try to do it anyway, and I have to have them put out. Because when I have events, when I have people, I have some security. Because sometimes I even got room for an audience. But you know, yeah, why would you go through all that? But they never came into their minds to ask, can I take some pictures? I may have said yes. I may have said no. But they didn't even try to find out. They rather get put out or get reprimanded, a grown person getting reprimanded in front of other grown people than to just follow orders. One woman was in here doing it, and I told her, she just kept on going, yeah, he up in here telling me what to do. I said, I sure am. I tell everybody what to do up in here. If you can't do it, you know where the door is. I'm not acting like no dictator. Well, I am a dictator up in here. There's no democracy up in here. It's a dictatorship, and I'm the dictator. I paid the cost to be the boss. And the thing is, if a white man had this place, the same circumstances, and you tell these black folks you can't take pictures up in here, oh, I'm sorry. They cut their camera off and put it up. They take it off and put it up. Because I tell you why. I know that. Because they feel they respect the white man as the boss. I have people come up in here and do all type of things. Men and women. It's not just women, it's men too. 'Cause I've been through that with men with taking pictures. I tell me, hey bro, you can't do that up in here. Oh man. The old man nothing. You gonna do what I say. I don't argue with nobody. If I argue with you, we got to part company. And see, I have I got somebody to get you up out of here. I don't do it myself. Like I said, I don't get into physical stuff. You won't like what I have to bring out to get you up out of here. So I wouldn't want to do that over that. So I try to squash it. Can't do that. You got to go. Because you know what I'm talking about. You don't do that for any other reason. You don't do that just because you're mad. It has to be for your own defense. Don't do that to people. Over that's another thing I'm gonna get off into later. We're too quick to want to terminate somebody. But then we want to boycott them and let the courts handle it. But we want to terminate our own quick. But look, you know what I'm talking about. I can't say it because, you know. But but look, what we have to do, we have to learn how to obey black people who are in charge. I was um used to have a white guy who used to come up here and work with me. I sent him out to do some stuff, and I came later. And then sometime him and I would go somewhere together. And then they see me with him, and you know what the black folk would say? Oh yeah, I met your boss. I said, my boss? What you talking about? I'm not gonna say his name. They said his name. I said, why do you think he's the boss? Because he's white? This man wore the same jeans every day. They were always clean, but they were the same jeans. And he's my boss? So why do you think he's the boss? They knew they said the truth, what they had to say, because he's white. When I used to do the high school football game. I had a white announcer for me. It's a shame he's the only one I was able to get along with. Cause brothers, we don't work too good together. You know, as long as he was with me, I was able to get school district contracts. But after he died, I noticed I couldn't get them anymore. You know what I found out? They thought he was the boss. Now this black school district would give a contract to this white man. But they should have known because I was the one who came up there and signed it because they thought I was fronting for him. Well, how they didn't know, I'm just not sure. I know right after he died, I couldn't get another contract. But that didn't hurt me because I started putting up my cash out, made more money anyway. And I don't even do it at all. You see, we don't value each other. We value them. Not just them. Anybody besides a black person. That's why, see, I don't get off into that people of color. We're not people of color. We're black. See, they put us in categories to diminish us. When the worst thing could have happened is them define us as minority. I'm going to get off subject here, but let me come back to that. Because let me tell you what happened. See, when they first started affirmative action, let me show you how we're actually better. If anybody's superior is us, let's look at our behavior as a people. But let me say this. Black people, as individuals, we're horrible with each other. We can be horrible people. But when collectively as a people, we're some of the most kindest, compassionate people on earth. We help each other get rights. The rights the Asians and everybody got, they wouldn't have that if it wasn't for us. Did they ever thank us? No, they came here and hate us more than white folks do. But you know what happened? We're very kind and compassionate on them as a people, collectively. But we can be horrible individually. But white people are the exact opposite. They are the type who are so nice and kind as individuals. You shouldn't be around, white people treat you so good. You may run into them old races sometimes, but most of the white people you run into treat you nice. Much better than black people. And have you thinking you'd rather be around them than be around black people. They're very kind. Individually. I don't know if it's kind or they're scared when they're around you or something. I know they treat you nice. But as a people, they're diabolical. When around this earth. If you look at the things they did to black people, and you think you can trust them as a people, when they had the school strike at the school over here, when they had the district strike, well, the teachers couldn't go in, they couldn't go inside the building to use the restroom. We're right across the street, so we allowed them to come over here to use the restroom. And they would congregate down in the lobby and talk. You see the black teachers and the white teachers talking with each other. You think they were best of friends. But you know what would happen? I got in my car. I rode past the high school. The white teachers was all together like they was a whole different nations in a camp, all by themselves. Individually, it was okay. But when they got together around the other white folks, you saw the difference. So be vigilant. I have some white friends. Did you know what I do? I know I'm getting a bit off subject, but I have to talk about this while thinking about it. I'm, I cut some of them a loose. 'Cause if I got any white friends who praising Charlie Kirk, I don't trust them anymore. It was some, treat me real well and everything. And they were so tore up and praised. See, I didn't know about Charlie Kirk until he got killed. I had one white friend on my Facebook page. Y'all gonna see me do a little itching. I just got over shingles. But look, you're gonna see some he said put on when I first found out about it, he said if anyone says anything bad about Charlie Kirk, they don't need to be my friend. They can unfriend me. So I texted him and I told him I don't even know who he is. And so I wouldn't know what to say about him until I find out who he is. But even if I did know, I'd say whatever I want to. How the hell are you gonna tell somebody what they can write on their page? You don't like it? Unfriend me. I'm gonna tell any of you all out there, if you write this on your page, I'm gonna do this and that. You're gonna tell me to hell with you. I write what I want to on my page. You wanna do it, do it. That's what I would say. When I found out about him, I put some stuff on my page. He didn't do nothing. Like, do they wear neck armor? I'm just asking for a friend with stuff like that. Yeah, but they say, oh man, don't be putting that stuff on social media. They searching people's social media page. I'm not gonna live in fear. They can say and do what they want to, say and do what I want to, and I just have to deal with it. I don't live in fear. I never have, and I'm not gonna start. Before I take it back, I add more to it. They're not gonna have me living in fear. They're not worried about somebody like me anyway. They worry about the big boys. Yeah, and see what happens is my white friends that did about Charlie Kirk, I didn't make the race. I kept promising, man, you're a Charlie Kirk fan, you can go about your business. I told him, for real. And I don't want to be bothered with you because I don't trust you no more. And man, talk about black women don't have the mental capacity to form a cohesive thought. They have to you have to go ask a white person. Like black women are stupid. Martin Luther King was a horrible, awful person. Talk like black men are so lazy. Like I said, how are we lazy? When I showed you who the lazy person is. Okay. And they got angry with me because I said, because this was one of those conservative pages. I usually don't go on there, but this one come across my page sometimes. And when something come across my page, I say, well, whatever I want to. It was all conservatives on there. And I said, after I checked into Charlie Kirk, I said, I know I'm off subject, but bear with me. After I checked into him, I said, he said, it takes a few lives being sacrificed to help support the Second Amendment. So I told him, I said, he wasn't murdered. What the hell you mean he wasn't murdered? I told him he was sacrificed. He said it's going to take a few lives. He said it's worth lives being lost to support the Second Amendment. It's just that he wasn't counting on being one of those sacrifices. He was wasn't murdered, he was sacrificed. Oh man, bro, they called me everything they could think of. Oh yeah, they called me everything they could think of. But I hit them back with facts and shut them up. So I know the facts of this stuff. That's what we got to learn. Don't get to calling names with. And after I tell the facts, I cut off the notification. Go on about my business. I don't care what they say after that. I'm not gonna argue with you on social media all night. I don't really respond to too much until there's something I think I have to because I'm not really a social media person because of what I do. I have to know what's going on. But look, like the what I was saying, see, you see how they value this man, but think we don't supposed to value Martin Luther King. There was another man. Many of you here in the East St. Louis area, you probably know him. I know people all around the area and got people around the world who watch trying to build up my. I used to have a lot of followers on. I used to have a lot of people. Can y'all click the like button? Cause that increase that make them distribute it more. If you hit the like button. But they what was I saying? Oh, there was this guy. He was a radio talk show host. His name Bob Romanek, and there was these two white friends I had, and they would come and tell me, Bob Romanek, he used to talk about black people, call people the N word on his radio program. I didn't listen to him, and then there was some. They would come back. Oh, you know what Bob Romanek said? Man, he said this. I said, look, I don't listen to Bob Romanek, but let me tell you what he said. He said, look, what did I just say? If I want to know what he said, I'd tune in myself. But one of the worst part of it was, I know a lot of black people who used to listen to him and like him. Isn't that sick? I mean, he was scum. He's dead now, so now I guess he's dead scum. But that made me question them. I remember, and I'm gonna get back on subject, but let me tell you this. I remember when Michael Brown was killed, and they said that people they were. Bob Romanek said that yeah, he see people going looting stores, but they're not stealing any work boots. I couldn't let them get away with that. So let me tell you something. You two be around black people. You barely around white people. You live around black people. You're around black people. Why would you say something like that? Most of the black people you around, don't they work? Oh yeah, they work. I see, but you're fighting this morning that you see that. You got to side with him. See, I talk to him like that. I don't play around. I don't get too old to be playing with people. And I was younger then, but I didn't play with them then. You got. I tell it like it is. They told me like it is, but they wanted to say I told it like them like it is too. Look, why would you say that when you know black people work? Most of the black people you know work, but you gonna side with that. You gotta start looking at them side-eyed also. Cause I'm tell you what a white woman said and told me one time. She was up here talking to me. It wasn't nothing going on between her and I, but she's come up here and talk friendly with me sometimes. She said, I'm gonna tell you something. Cause he started, white guy come up here. Most white people are not your friends. So you may think they're your friends. Say, but when they get around, wait till they get around all white people. Their whole language changed. And you're that N word and all that. But they come around here and treat you so nice, you think y'all was brothers. She said, just watch out. It was a white woman who told me that. Just watch out when you're around white people. And it was a white woman who told me that. She used to come up here and talk to me. Very pretty white woman, but I wasn't interested. I think she was, but I wasn't. There's another thing, man. You ain't gotta try to mess with every woman that show interest in you. Get what you like. Get what you want. She wasn't what I like. She was pretty, built nice, but she wasn't what I like and what I want. And plus, I don't mess around with women who have anything to do with my business. That's a bad practice also. Okay, back to what I was talking about. If we want other people to have respect, I was talking about when We didn't set up any ethnicity. See, other people have ethnic groups within their people. You know, in Jamaica, they're not all one. They're all one nation, but they're not all of the same ethnic groups. Over in Africa, so like when people talk about African culture, which one is about 1,000 of them. I put this cap on tonight. I was getting ready to stop wearing these because the Jamaican people made me kind of piss me off a little bit. Stuff they said about us, but I decided to wear it tonight since I bought it. I bought it the same night I got pissed off at them. So I said, I go and sport it, you know. It's just a cap. And oh, let me tell you, I wish we are. I was on the ethnic group. I get back to this. See, when you're among people, you get around most people the way they form the ethnic groups. They got around like-minded people who live the way that they live, did things the way that they did, and they even made a name for themselves. And they kind of branched off into their own little area. See, if any other people have been, well, the Chicago blacks, they were like a different ethnic group. St. Louis blacks, the LA black, we were all one people with different ethnicities, but we never set up any codes or standards. No rule. We think our hair, clothes, and food is our culture. Now your culture has to set your code of behavior. And we never did that. We don't have a code of behavior. That's why we're so unruly. And the reason we're having all these fights, I told you I gotta do a little scratching. Because that you are just coming on, I had a little bottle of shingles. It's gone. You know, you still get that little itch every now and then. But look, when it's the first time I've been sick I can remember in my life. I thought I was dying because I didn't think I was dying. But, you know, it was really hard on me when you're not used to being sick. But what happened is the we didn't set up ethnic groups, and we just think we're all just one people. And we didn't set up any rules. We don't even raise our kids by rules. Matter of fact, the majority of black kids aren't being raised up. They're being bullied up. You better not do it. You better not do that. Whooping little infants. They don't know what you whooping them for. They get beat and hollered at all their lives. Then when they grow up, when people do something they don't like, they gotta physically punish them. They grow up with that. All they yelling and screaming and hollering. Anything you do, you get hit for it, get beat for it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I never got a whooping. I got 3 brothers and 3 sisters. We didn't get whoopings. None of us been in prison. We all productive citizens. We, we didn't get whoopings. I have a son and a daughter. They didn't get whoopings. My nieces and nephews, they grew up around me. Well, they got whoopings, but not from me. But my nieces and nephews, I'm gonna be honest with you. I never spanked a child in my life. Never have. You know why? I dealt with them in a way where they obeyed me. I didn't have to. So I was wondering why come when they go home they gotta get whipped. And all of a sudden they're so disobedient. I don't it's some children gotta get whipped sometime. Now, I'm not saying don't whoop. But just raising them like that, everything requires a whooping. I see people with their children in the store, well, when the mother really yelling and screaming at the kids, and the kids not doing nothing. Talking so mean to them, and they're not doing nothing. They're just standing there. In the store, kids might turn and look at something. I know that you looking at you ain't getting SH, you know what? They can't look. When you've been talked to like that all of your life, been beat and hit all of your life, What are you gonna do when you grow up? When you talk to your sons, have you? I'm gonna tell you what how white women say they reason they prefer black men. They just about don't even want to fool with white men no more. A lot of them, the younger white women, they say a lot of black men was raised by women, and they know how to deal with women better. But see, black women would beg to differ from that because you don't see it. You come because you know why? You seen your mother yelling at your brother, your mama yelling at your daddy, yelling at everybody. So you go up and do it too. If you notice, and see the man, he grew up being yelled about and bossed by women all his life. So you see these women with these men, he talking to her nice and she talking to him any kind of because you know that what happens. I see it all the time. Watch a man and black woman walk down the street. Watch the body language. She huffing and puffing, he walking just as calm, talking to her just as calm. So he's used to a woman yelling and screaming at him, calling him all kind of names. He's used to it. That's the way he was raised on that. But see, I came from a home with a mother and a father, and a lot of other men did too. A lot of them was raised with their father, even if they're. So what a lot of people don't realize, they talk about the home, a fatherless home. Because the people are not married don't mean the father's not there. See, that's what the census don't show. They go by married couples. You have people who just not getting married, but they still raised the children together. But the census don't show that. But see, the thing is, we have to talk to our children better, so they won't grow up being so mean and violent. We won't be seeing these fights all over the place. Like I said, a lot of those fights are faked. I said it earlier. I saw one. You know what? As old as I am, I never seen one of those fights in person. I only see them on the internet. Now, black people so unruly doing all that now. I've been around black people. I lived around black people in Chicago. I lived around black people for a long time in Los Angeles. Lived around black people in East St. Louis, St. Louis. Now, come on. I would have seen it somewhere. A lot of them are staging these fights for the internet to get likes. I saw one for the first time. The people in East St. Louis know what I'm talking about on 25th and State. These women was ganging this woman, beating them up, the plus size women. And I wasn't gonna get in the middle of that. Excuse me. No, I wasn't gonna get in the middle of that. But why don't the men stop it? They boxing. I said this earlier, but many of you wouldn't hear. They're boxing. They're not damsels in distress. They're doing what they want to do. If some man disrespected a woman, they want to come hit her, yeah, I'm gonna help her. I'm gonna help her. I help a lady, but I'm not helping a gorilla who come to box. And you know what I found out later on? It was fake. They weren't even fighting for real. Y'all need to cut that out. You're ruining our ethnic image. When I when I was in St. Louis on 4th of July in 2022, because I told you about the fights, but these brothers with these guns, and come on, stop killing folks over here. I'm not supposed to say that word. I hope you don't flag me. Stop unaliving each other over any little thing because you mad. Because that's permanent. You're not gonna be angry forever. But those people are gonna be unalived forever. Because when you unalive somebody, you're just not affecting them. Those people got families. It's affecting a lot of people. And you make the crime rate in the city so bad. And that's why they talking about even bringing National Guards to St. Louis, Missouri. It's the number one crime capital. Did you know that? And been for quite a while. Do you know that you can carry a gun in, in St. Louis legally at any age? They don't even have an age limit. At first, I thought they wouldn't send them here because he's in a red state with a white mayor. But they're talking about sending them to St. Louis. I just hope they don't cross the river. They don't be coming over here. No immigrants over here. We're not bothering anybody. And they're mostly coming, even in D.C., mostly bothering the immigrants. If the black folks keep themselves at home, you probably wouldn't have any problems. But what I was seeing on July 4th in 2022, I had an experience. I was over across the river in the crime capital. And that was this teenage boy. He was in the middle of the street, just dancing, all blocking traffic. So I blew for him to move. When I blew for him to move, he pulled out this big old shiny out of me like a big 45. Like, yeah, what? I waved at him, kept on going. I stopped and told the policeman about it. So he's right around the corner. You know what? He saw them when they saw him coming. They kind of ran. I looked, stopped and looked. But they, you know what the policeman did? Rolled right on by. I didn't know at the time, but I found out later that it was legal for them to carry that gun. It's not legal for them to pull it on somebody. So that's why I say they don't go after our black criminals anyway. Let me tell you why. Because see, this still on my subject about the guns and the fights. The FBI crime statistics says that crime in 90% of the crime in black areas are caused by less than 2%. Serious crimes. 90% of them are caused by less than 2% of the same repeated offenders between the ages of 14 and 22. Well, what happened when they just start getting older? Three things. They either went to jail, got killed, or four things. Learned some sense or got a job. So it's not black folks committing crime all over here. In most working class black neighborhoods, there's hardly any crime. And crime in any city or any area, it's not all over. It's in pockets. There are certain areas in St. Louis City you can go in and be safe. It's not all over. But they'll make you think. You go out in the county, black cities out there, black people doing well, crime free just about. Because you know why? Crime among black people is tied in with economics. I'm going to show you the other side, who's supposed to be superior. Let me show you the other side. They commit crime. They can be working, doing well, yet still commit those crimes. And you know what? It's usually the middle-aged and old people committing most of the crimes. Just look at January 6th. There wasn't no spring chickens out there. Did you see how old those people were? Do you see how old white men who in gangs are? These be middle-aged and grandpas in a gang. Yeah, I'm in such and such gang. Big old long gray beard. But you find black men riding motorcycles, but they they're in motorcycle clubs, not no motorcycle gangs. But see, but who's superior in this situation? Us or them. They commit crimes. Like I said, January 6th. These people, they were doctors, lawyers, policemen, firemen. Policemen coming to kill other policemen. Firemen, state reps. Could you imagine our state reps going out there doing something like this? Could you imagine our police flying out to D.C. to try to go kill another policeman? It wouldn't happen. Because when black people have jobs, we learn how to behave ourselves. But when they have jobs, it don't, because it's innate in them. With us, it has to do with economics. They turn around and act like as though it's bred and innate in us. Well, why come we cut it out when we get an income? But they don't. And the January 6th, I mentioned this before. There was this white woman who flew in on her private jet, being seen helping to crawl through the window of the Capitol. Now, what black woman do you know who can afford a private jet gonna go out and fly out to D.C. for that kind of mess? If anything, she gonna use that fuel to fly to Paris and do some shopping or something. She ain't gonna go to do no foolishness like that, because when black people get older and make money, we don't cause much trouble. Even the young black people who are working and making money, they don't cause much trouble. That's why he's in that age group. But they make it seem different. See, it's not innate. We're just prone to make crime like it's just part of our nature. Because if it was a part of our nature, we'd still be doing it at the ages that they're doing it at. When we get older, we get better. They get older, they get worse. But, you see, they're doing it when they don't have to. Most black crimes are survival crimes. And a gang crime, that's something different. But the majority of black crimes are survival crimes. I'm not talking about the murders and all that. So we're not committing crimes across the board. And you know when they had the crime statistics, I'm going to show you this so we can start valuing each other. Some of you may have heard me say this before, but sometimes I have to keep saying it. Crime statistics is not the FBI crime statistics. Could you bear with me a minute? Hold on. I have to go run and do something right quick. I'll be right back. Give me about 30 seconds. Okay, I'm back. I thank you for staying with me. But look, when we look at the crime statistics, they are not actually gauging crimes. They go by arrest, not crimes that were committed. And who are the most arrested? How many times you hear black people say, see a white person doing something, and they say, boy, if he was a black person, they'd be taking him to jail. How many times have you heard that? And you know who are the most exonerated from those arrests? Black people. You know who are the least to be exonerated from those arrests? White people. Look it up yourselves. See, anytime I say statistics, I don't make my own statistics. You can Google it or look it up yourself or go to the FBI page. They have it all there. We're not the bad people they make us out to be. Like we're supposed to value them and hate our own. when you get down to the facts. And you know what? So then I have even black people arguing with me. Uh, well, black people are the most in prison, on the prison roll. You know what? You can't go by that. Black people were the most in prison when we was enslaved, in slavery. Black people and the people coming to prison was used slaves to do their work. That was why. Black people were the most imprisoned after slavery around in the early 1900, early 20th century, when crime among black people was almost non-existent because we were too busy eking out a living. We didn't have time for it. That we were the most in prison. Black people gonna always be the one most in prison. You know why? Most black people cop out, while most white people have lawyers. Most black people cop out. Did you know that only 5% of crimes ever go before a jury? Did you know that? 95% of them will cop out. They make a plea. They will cop out, make a plea. That's the same thing. Because you have a lot, you see, it's awful strange how records match. See, 80% of the black men in prison came from a single parent home. And many of them were some of them had slow mental capacity. But, police get them in there, you confess to this, or we're going to, I told you I'm a little restless because I had just gotten over shingles. Right. It still itches a little bit. But look, the many of them crop out the stuff. You can see it. You can see it, man. Don't even really even know what the folks talking about. A lot of them know policemen get them in the room. Well, you're gonna get 27 years. I know that penalty only carries about 5 years. But he doesn't know that. So he cop out to the 5 years. Knowing he couldn't get not knowing he couldn't have gotten 27 years anyway. Those games they play. So yeah, black people could always be the most in prison. And when they find out a person spent a long time in prison and they didn't do the crime and then get let out, how do they usually look? Like you and me? Most of them, the largest percentage of them. And see, like back during like the Jim Crow era and the early 1920s, so a black person went to prison because white man hit you and you hit him back, you go to prison. We went to prison for anything. So yeah, black people made the largest population. So I hate when you have white people trying to plead, black people trying to plead white folks' case for them. Let them plead their own case. Yeah, but you so yeah, black people are gonna always make up the most in prison, and they usually given longer sentences. So they get a lot of those guys to cop out. Some of them really didn't do the crime. It's just that they heard that long sentence. Some of them did it now. I'm not saying they're all angels now. But I say Lord show them where they need to be. But you got some of them, they copped out to a sentence. If they went to trial, they may have beat it. But they heard that long sentence. So they copped out to something. A long sentence they couldn't have gotten anyway. See, one thing you got to realize in that interrogation room and even in court, see, the policeman can lie to get you to confess. You just can't lie to him. In court, a lawyer can lie. You just can't lie in court. So it's all stacked against you, so try to stay out of trouble. I just say that to show how they talk about we're the most in prison and all of that. All that stuff not true. You have to look into that stuff. You just can't take them at their word. Because you know one thing about them, they even document See, just like they can document something that's a lie, they even document that their lie is a lie. If you look hard enough, what they do, they doctor it up in a way to give a certain appearance, like make conviction, make you think uh, conviction is arrest or conviction. Who do they set up in certain people's neighborhoods? Who neighborhood do they set up in? Roads who they know is frequently traveled by what people? Us. With those stops. Do you see them stopping by a road that they know that all white people don't travel on? I haven't seen one yet. They used to have a thing called Black Tuesday in Belleville, Illinois, where they knew black people was coming to court, so they set up a roadblock, try to catch them coming up there driving without a license or something. It was called Black Tuesday. They had to cut it out when that time Curran was he was the county board chair. He was the mayor then. And then when he wanted to run the other offices and knew he needed for county offices instead of city office, he knew he needed the black vote. He cut it out. Only black folks delivered for him too. That's the only reason they cut that out, because he started needing the black vote after he started running for county-wide office. And so, yeah, so we're not as bad as crime as it makes us out to look. I think about us, we're too emotional and causes a lot of scenes. We cause more scenes more than anything else. Because the way we raise, when you raise kids up, beating them and hitting them, they go up emotional. Putting them down all the time, yeah, they're going to go up emotional. What's the strongest emotion? Anger. Especially in men. Strongest emotion is anger. That's one of the first emotions, really. And so, yeah, I just said to show we're not as bad as people as we say they are, and I showed you where they're actually worse than what they're calling us. See, if you notice, see, think about us. I'm gonna tell you how a lot of those black conservatives and folks build a case against black people, and many white people build a case against black people. What they do, they make it seem like we have to be perfect. We have some inadequacies. We do some things we shouldn't do, but who doesn't? Why we have to be perfect, but other people don't have to be perfect? Now, when we supposed to be inferior, then why is perfection expected from us when it's not expected from you? You can do all type of things and get excused. As soon as we do something, if you notice, listen to the people when they talk against black people. A lot of times the stuff they talk about is irrelevant. But they harp on things against black people. It's even worse when you see a black person doing it. But you know, black people, well, we do this and do that. Look, don't tell them nothing. Let them. If you notice, when a white person, when black people are talking things about white people don't plead our case for us. Some are beginning to do it now on social media. I remember the TV talk show. White people didn't plead our case for us. But you have a black person come along. Well, you know, black people, we do this and do that. Why you gotta say that? Let them say it. And then then turn around and say something good about the white folks. Let them plead their own case. I'm not helping them with nothing. They don't help us. One of the favorite phrases there used to be, I don't know anybody who's racist. I'm not racist and I don't know anybody who's racist. And knowing all of you are in some type of way. Everybody got their prejudices, but they're racist because they're running it and control it. So, but they never will tell on their own. But we quick to tell on ours. Let them figure it out. Let them say it. But if we don't do everything perfect, then we deserve everything we get. Well, you didn't do this right. So you did this, so you deserve that. If they got everything they deserve for all the crap they done pulled, they'd be wiped off the face of the earth and killed more people in the last 300 years than all other races combined in the history of the planet. They've done that in less than 300 years. Went around the world destabilizing the world, taking other people's resources. You know that Europe wouldn't be nothing without the resources of Africa? They're learning in Africa now. They're keeping their own stuff. Now France is having problems in Britain because they can't get Africa's resources anymore. How Africa let that go on this long, I don't know. And they was really some fools. But I'm gonna help your country get rich. Half of my people don't have good infrastructure and modernized. Half of my people don't have electricity, running water, unless they come to the city. Roll out, rolling blackouts. Well, this area got to be blacked out for a while. Then next that area. Tomorrow night that area. While yours on all night off of our resources, they would get those puppet leaders, put them in place, make them a billionaire, and they just let them do whatever they wanted to do. But see, the reason I say I was pissed off with the Jamaicans for a while, I still am. I just got my cap on. But see, those people never wanted nothing to do with us. You see, when they come here, them when I lived in LA, that's why I said we're not people of color. We're not minorities. We're black people. Because they try to put us in those categories. I didn't finish it up about affirmative action. How they put us in that category to diminish us so we won't get what we want. See, when they called us minority, when affirmative action first started, it's for black people. Then they said minorities. So they included uh, immigrants, the legal immigrants, people of color, white women, and black people was barely getting 1%. Not even that much. Wasn't getting anything anymore. But black women got some jobs because they were seen as a double minority. That's why it seemed like a lot of women getting fired from the government, not black men. Because more black women, matter of fact, black women, when it comes to the government, all the government jobs make up 22%, or even greatly overrepresented. But black men really couldn't get them because, see, the black woman was seen as a double minority. Why hire a black man when you can hire a black who's a woman? Two for the price of one. The black women got most of it, like 78%. 78% of DEI. Because DEI was just a re-registered brand of affirmative action. That's why when they ended, it didn't hurt us. Well, those 300,000 black women, but most of them, when they get the jobs, they went and got divorces. So, so what happened was, so when you put black people in there with minorities and people of color and all that, what does that? That's at 17%. So now that means everybody put in one category. Who's now the minority? white males. Because see, black women is the largest single demographics. So the white male is now the minority. Show you the tricks they play. How to get your mind, make affirmative action something against a black thing, make white people hate it. White man now the minority. And everyone else getting 17%. What is he getting? 83%. But he said he's being discriminated against. You know why they can do that? I told you before, Lyndon Johnson said, if you can teach the lowest white person that they're better than the best black person, you can pick his pockets and he'll never know it. If you can teach him and you can give him someone to look down on, he'll empty his pockets for you. That's what they're doing with affirmative action. They put a black face on him. And they're emptying their pockets for him. They don't even see what he's walking away with. And see, that's why I say they're not going to give rid of black people. Constitutionally, they can't, but we really don't have a constitution anymore. Tell them what these people may try, because no one seems to be able to stop. Now, all the Democrats want to do is give press conferences. Take off your gloves. Get diabolical like them. You fighting a person who's not going by the rules, you got to stop going by those rules too. And get diabolical. And look, the, what was I saying? Oh yeah, you know why they won't get rid of us? I tell you why. Remember when Lyndon Johnson said, give them somebody to look down on? The white race cannot function without having them a boogeyman. They have to have somebody to look down on. Because when they didn't have black people over in Europe looking down on the Irish, looking down on the Wales, or they were looking down on other European nations, they have to have somebody to look down on. And since we not supposed to be able to get deported, I have to say that, they keep us here as the boogeyman. If you notice, show you how they got to have somebody to look down on. Well, I'm showing you we got to value each other. We're not the bad people they make us out to be. When black people say Black Pride, they have holidays celebrating Black Pride. We can have Juneteenth, Kwanzaa, Black History Month. I remember they used to have the Missouri Black Expo. But who could come? Everybody. White people would be there. Latino, Asians, everybody could come. Okay, when I lived in LA, when I lived in Chicago, they had the Puerto Ricans. They had their day. Celebration. Everybody was there. All different races was there. The Mexicans have Cinco de Mayo. All races of people there. As a matter of fact, we have more black people at Cinco de Mayo than you do at Juneteenth and Kwanzaa. Why y'all do that, I don't know. Some people don't like you. I lived around them, I know. And because when you're out in LA, it may be a black neighborhood, but you have some of them living. You might have one or two families living in it, and some of them, you see them coming around. Then when you go out, you see them. But look, but you could go to their festival. When I was in LA, you went to, they had a Chinese festival in Little China, in Chinatown, in Little Seoul, when Koreans had theirs. I went to theirs because I knew some of those different type of people. But when the white folks have a white pride day, you know what they have going on? People walking around with assault rifles, passing out hate literature, gun show, all of that. Can't nobody go there but white people. talking against other races and giving hate speeches. Can't nobody go to theirs but white people. Now, who seems to be the inferior MF here? It's not us. Each of these situations I've shown you, who seemed to be superior and who was inferior. We have a man who preached, they're trying to bring races together and judge by the content of your character and not by the color of your skin, who will kneel down and pray with people. And white people see him as a bad man. But this Charlie Kirk said Martin Luther King was an evil, bad man, and yet he's seen as a good guy. But between Charlie Kirk and Martin Luther King, who would you say was superior? Black man, the white man. In each scenario I showed you, we came out on top. We're not the bad people. We need to start valuing each other. We're not these bad people. People leaders. We go by look. See, we can't go by look. Instances we see around us. You have to look at the big picture. You know these black communities around here that's crime free, people working good, living good. Some people told me, said, man, there's too much going on. Instead of black people out here protesting, out here putting boots on the ground. We don't have time for boots on the ground. Some yes we do. That's not our protest. Let them people do their own protest. But look, black people, if they wanted to protest, they can protest and they can still put boots on the ground. We can walk into gum at the same time. Let me tell you, black people, if we stop enjoying our lives because we got troubles, we never enjoy our lives. But we're going to always have trouble in this land. Always. They told say, hey, y'all need to help us. Y'all next. No, you the next. We the always have been. See what they going through? They went through for a few months. We've been going through it for 400 years, non-stop. Now it may not just be out there where you see every day, but it sort of is though. But when it was happening to us, where was you? Where was you during the civil rights movement? You were coming with march for police brutality because even the Hispanics didn't do that. It was white folks came off of that. Anybody can come off of that. That's an issue that can happen to you. But where was all these people at when we was out marching for our rights? To life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The right to vote. The right to go to any store we want to. You weren't there then. You were the one getting the water hose and beating and dogs sicked on you. We're not come helping you with a damn thing. Do it yourself. Latino, pull yourself up by your own bootstrap. Because that was you said to us. You told people we was lazy. I know about that. How you try to go to other immigrants and say, oh, you see that black guy, try to get the black guys fired, saying they're lazy. The man was Nigerian. You thought, said, we all immigrants. We got to stick together. Did you see that? And a lot of other immigrants said it. And the Latinos would come to them telling the black people lazy. They just get rid of them, try to get some of their buddies in there. Now, we know about that. We know about when the MF-13 leader was in prison. MS-13 leader was in prison. He told the Mexicans to get all the black folks out of my neighborhood. You wouldn't go take on the Bloods and the Crips. You'd find an old man sent the bus stop and put a bullet in his head. But the Bloods and the Crips should have done something about that too, though. Because this was against our race. There's certain things you don't let go on. Because it's not just against that person. It's against our race. And you got to respond. I told you about how, see, like if I saw one of them fights going on out there, and some white man coming after a black woman, I'm going to do something then, because it's bigger than just her. You see what I'm saying? It's bigger than just her then. But see, the thing is, we we was going through for 500 years, and if we stopped having fun, because we had some hard times, some bad times, we would have never had fun. Remember how they used to say, well, they were, oh, my slaves are happy, they singing and dancing, and yeah, my Negroes, they happy, they singing and dancing, and okay, that's so stupid. If you keep people in slavery 250 years, do you actually think they're going to sit up in a corner, woe is me, for 250 years? They're going to try to find ways to enjoy themselves. So yeah, they would play the little harmonica and fiddle and dance some at night. That don't mean they were happy with their situation. It's just like a man in prison. You see guys in prison playing cards, watching TV, joking, laughing. But do you think they're happy about where they're at? What were they supposed to do? Ball up in the corner, put the thumb in the mouth, and suck the thumb all night. Oh, we don't mind getting out. It's just making the best of a bad situation. But see, people who want to speak against you, they find any kind of thing to say because it's like Charlie Kirk, the man they adore, putting him on Martin Luther King level. Like I said, just gauge him. Look at the two. Who's superior? Theirs or ours. And you know what? I didn't know who he was till he got smoked. But they were saying, uh, he don't say anything mean. He get wife, children. They seen him get killed. Well, they should have stayed home. They knew what kind of man he was. But see, the thing is this. Well, she could have came and could have came and been giving them a big kiss. I left the kids at home, being giving them a big kiss. Oh, do you know what the last word they say he said? Black games. That was what the last word that came out of his mouth. But see, what he did was this. He spoke on issues that white people like. Because see, nowadays, you would make money, just be a black white person talking against black people. Oh, you can get huge followers and make $1 million. So I say you gotta watch these people even if they're your friend, even if they're your friends. I found that out after this Kirk killing. And you know what they say he got a wife, he got kids, pray for his wife and his kids. He doesn't deserve this. I'm not praying for him. I'm gonna tell you why. He was the enemy of our people. I rejoice at my enemy's downfall. And you all can do it if you want to. Put up your praying hands. I can't tell anyone else what to do. I rejoice at the downfall of of the enemy against my people. What I want the person alive for to keep spreading that stuff out there. I wouldn't do it to him because I'm not that kind of person. That's not my mission. He was sacrificed. He said he's gonna take some. It's worth losing some lives to protect the Second Amendment. You know, he says it's worth sacrificing some lives to protect the Second Amendment. He just wasn't counting on being a sacrifice. You think the other sacrifices? He said he was talking about the school shootings when he said that. You think that he cared about those children and their families? Yeah, and they're telling black people, look, do you know when Martin Luther King was killed? I was a little kid. I can still vaguely remember white people rejoicing when he was killed. They didn't care about his family. They still say mean things about him. Okay, let's go down the line. Bear with me a minute. Let's go down the line. Like something wrong with us if we don't pray for his family. I'm not praying for him or his family. But look, Trayvon Martin, did you hear the mean stuff they said about him when he was killed? Boy on his way home from the store, man starts a fight with him because he was losing the fight. Man shoot him and kill him. Did you hear the mean stuff said about Trayvon Martin? He's got a family. And then the man texted his mother on Mother's Day, said you should have raised your son better. He didn't murder someone, you did. Your mother should have raised you better. And get this, how can you pick a fight with somebody because you losing the fight? You shoot them and say you standing your ground on a fight you started. So that means you want to murder somebody. I mean, you want to unalive somebody. I better say those words. You want to unalive somebody, what do? You pick a fight with them. Let them start winning, shoot them. That's what that amounts to, but that's not going to work for black people. A black person hasn't won a case on that yet. There's never be charges on that yet. Because you know what happened? There was one black woman who didn't shoot the person, but fired a warning shot, and they tried to give her 20 years. I think the people got on it, so they left her alone. They tried to give her 20 years. A black woman, 20 years, but she said she was standing her ground. Fired a warning shot, and they were going to try to give her 20 years. So we can't do what they do. They're not going to let us get away with that. That's for them. That's not for us. That can stand your ground. Just to take off. But look, okay, I said that about Trayvon Martin. He had a family. I didn't mean to get off on that. So, Tamir Rice, the 12-year-old boy, they talk bad about because he was playing with a toy gun. How you going to talk bad about a 12-year-old boy? Those folks didn't pray for his family, him or his family. Castillo, where I can't remember his first name. When the police officer told him, he let the police officer know he's legally carrying a gun. The police officer said, reach and give me your ID. When he reached for his ID, the police shot him and killed him. Let the policeman go. They still talk bad about this man. Matter of fact, his girlfriend was going live on social media when he shot him. Wait a minute, I think they didn't let him go. I think he was convicted. I'm wrong on that, I think. I think he was convicted because he was on live on social media. His girlfriend had the phone going. You tell the man to reach for the ID, then you shoot him. See, but what he did wrong, let me get back to what I was talking about, but if you got a gun, but you can carry it legal, don't never tell the police you got it. Let them find it. When they find it, they're going to take it from you, then they're going to ask you what you doing with this gun. Then you tell them, well, I got a permit to carry it. Then they're going to ask for the permit. But never tell them you got it, because they're going to get jumpy then. Because they may not even find it if you just keep your mouth shut. But if they do, you still got it legal. So you know that's a good path for you. But never tell the police you got a gun, because if you do, you're in trouble. Because they're scary like that. But then again, if I was a policeman, I would be a little jittery knowing another person got a gun. So never tell them that. He had a family. You should see the mean things they said about him. But when the white people get killed, we put up the praying hands, praying for their family. So who's superior and who's inferior on that? Breonna Taylor, shot while sleeping in bed because they did a no-knock warrant, which I call execution warrants. And I'll tell you why I call them execution warrants. You come bust down a person's door, talking about freeze, startling them like that. Then when they get startled, you shoot them. That's what happened to Breonna Taylor. She laying in bed. They shot her in bed. Coming there looking for somebody who didn't even live with her anymore. The policeman got 1 day in jail. Can you believe that? She had a family. they talked bad about her. I can't remember the guy who got killed selling loose cigarettes, selling loosies. I can't remember his name. Was that Eric Garner? I think it was. You should hear how bad they talked about him. He had a family. Michael Brown. They really talked bad about him. He had a family. Sandra Bland died while in the jail cell. They said no foul play. Talk bad about her. Them folks did. You know them folks I'm talking about. White folks, I said, they say black when they talk about us, white folks. White folks and people of color. They did too. It was not just white folks. The people of color been against us too. She had a family. I didn't see them put a prayer in hands. George Floyd. Said all type of mean things about him. He had a family. The guy that just who's with Michael Brown when he was killed. He he was killed about a couple weeks ago. You should hear the way he was clowning him. Those folks, cause they troll us because they can't get us out their heads. I did a show last night about how they have us on their minds 24/7. No, they have us in their heads 24/7. But look, you should hear the remarks he said about him. When the tornado hit North St. Louis, the black area of town, you should have heard all the mean. I didn't see one nice comment. Oh, the house probably looked better after the tornado hit it. They just said all type of mean things. But when it happened to them, we got praying hands up. Oh, I hope everybody was okay. I wouldn't care how they are, to be honest with you. I feel about yours the same way you feel about me. Mine. So all these black people didn't get any good words in. But yet when something happened to one of theirs, we supposed to be all broken up and care. I don't care about Charles Kirk's wife, his kids, his mama, his daddy, his dog, his cat, his pastor. I don't give a damn about none of them, just like you didn't give a damn about ours. Oh, they people tomorrow they gonna come after you, man. They searching social media. Well, when we first time, I don't live in fear like that. I just say what I'm gonna say, just like they do. Like I said, I'm small fry. They're not worried about me. I don't think. And I need to find me an escape path. Oh, I said that on there, didn't I? Oh, but look, see, they never cared about us, and they still don't. So they just talking about burning down the black farmers' farms because the black farmers are still economically feasible and they're not. I didn't tell you about that, what they did to the black farmers. Show you how we're better and they're worse. So we can quit thinking that they're better than us. See, the black farmers are still making crops that they can send to market. They couldn't get the loans, so they had to buy their equipment, so they own everything. They're not going into foreclosure. See, the black farmers never got the relief packages, the subsidies that they got. So most of the white farmers were subsidized. They didn't do anything by heart by pulling themselves up by their own bootstraps and do hard work. And see what you know how they got a lot of them got that land. Remember when all the land was taken from black people and given to white people? That's how a lot of them got the land that they own. And you know what the government did during COVID? They gave them a package that they didn't a grant that they didn't have to pay back. That's what propped them up. The black farmers didn't get it. The black farmers sued, won the suit. So the white farmers got angry and said, we want some of that money. But the black farmers didn't get none of theirs. So they countersued. You know what Biden did? They dropped the whole thing. Now, how in the world you going to sue me? You going to sue to get some? I'm going to say, I want some of his money, so I sue, and you don't get nothing. I never heard no mess like that before. But you heard these strange things when they happen to black people. Now, who was superior and who was inferior in that? Was the black farmers inferior behavior or theirs? I can show you all across the board down through the centuries their behavior and ours, the way they are and the way we are, about who is the better person. Okay, they so what the black farmers start doing, they start selling to the local market because they couldn't get the soybean contracts. They're doing fine. I told you earlier about how the white farmers say, someone said we ought to burn down the black farms. To show you how these diabolical people haven't changed. When they see black people doing well economically, don't that sound like Tulsa and Rosewood? And those other black economic areas they burnt down? Don't that sound familiar? They haven't changed. It depends on the circumstances. When they were getting all their money, getting rich, becoming millionaires, and did the black farmers talk about burning down their farms? Did the black farmer even think about harming them? No. So who's superior and who's the inferior person? They need to grow up. I was talking to one on social media. You know, they try to come on black people formats and say stuff. I normally don't say them, but sometimes I just want to get them. I know I can get them with some facts. You got to talk about black people. And I went through history with them, history of white folks with them. And I told them, look, you all been calling us. You think black people actually care about what you say? We mind our own business. We're not getting involved in protests. You notice most of the black people on this page don't even respond to what you say. And you know what? You've been saying the same stuff for 400 years. You don't have nothing new. When you gonna grow up? We don't even have. I told them we don't even have any racial names that we called you anymore. Back in the mid 20th century, we called them names like hunk and crackers. But that was in response to stuff they was calling us. We dropped that. We don't even have nothing we call them anymore. But they're still doing the same thing. I told them, say, look, we advanced. You didn't. You are like racial infants. When are you all going to grow up? I didn't hear no more from them. So you have to know how to talk to them, not now that getting mad, stuff all in your feelings. I hit a lot of them with facts. I don't do it often, but when I do, you know, sometimes you let things slip by. It don't even matter to you. Sometimes you just feel like responding to certain things. Now this thing with the cruise ship, they're talking about this Royal Caribbean cruise is usually on Carnival. This Royal Caribbean cruise ship had to come back to port because of a fight on board. Okay, white folks tried it like it was black folks and never said what a race. But when I finally saw a video, you know what it was? It was black people and white people. What happened was the black people rented this pool. They rented the entire pool. And the white people were supposed to be in another pool. But white people we keep coming in the black pool to the black folks pool by mistake. They want to get smart about it. So you know what happened after that? Now, how is that the black folks' fault? But they still trying to pretend like it's the black folks' fault. It's gonna be some. See, I've seen crews fights, but only white folks crews. They do all kind of stuff. We just don't run to their stuff like they run to ours. Then a lot of that stuff just be AI made stuff. But look, them white folks on that cruise ship fighting, as I said before, these were seniors, middle aged and seniors fighting. Now, would you see some black middle aged seniors doing that? A gang senior fight? I mean, that even sounds disgusting, doesn't it? A senior gang fight. Remember I told you before? Excuse me. Excuse me. How when black people grow up, we cut that foolishness out. If you look at the black people fighting on the cruise ship, some of them look like they're middle aged, but they be much younger people. You don't see them with a bunch of gray beards and gray hair, white hair, not gray but white hair. That's what the white people were. And so one white guy just saw one of the white people. They were old people. See, when our people get older, they get some sense. When they grow up, yours don't. They seem to get worse. He hits shut up. You know, I told him some other things too. But see, you have to know how to talk back to people. Don't get angry, cursing at them and all that. Because when you start cursing, that just leads to fights. We have to learn how to get angry. No, just deal with problems. So our way of dealing with problems is coming to fight. You gotta go talk to people, see what's going on. I remember one woman I was with, she had a daughter. So, she must have been about 10 years old. And I wouldn't stay there because I don't stay in the house where little girls is not mine. But I was there, and she was out there fighting. She got off the bus out there. I'm looking right out, sitting there looking right at the window, playing with her friends, having a good time, just laughing and grinning. When she got to the door, she was up at the door. When she just fell through the door crying. Oh, that old teacher messing with me all day long. That old teacher messing with me. Her mother came. I'm going up to that school tomorrow. See what that teacher doing to my daughter. No, me and her gonna have it out. I said, a minute ago, that girl was out there, till she can't get in the house, she was out there laughing and grinning. Come to find out the girl got a health. And that's why she was doing that. You got to find out, go to people. If you're going to talk to them, find out what's going on. Don't go to them already mad and ready to fight. You know why we do that? Like I said, the way we were raised, we're trained to get angry over anything people do that we don't like. That's why I used to, when I was going down to the store to get something during COVID. My battery was down in my truck. I didn't know it. I had left the light on all night. So I decided I'm right on the bus line. I can catch the bus down and walk back if necessary. It's not that far. There was this woman on there. I don't know, people standing over me talking. I'm sitting there by the house. So I moved over to the other seat so they wouldn't be standing over me talking. She looked at me. I don't want to sit next to you. I don't want to sit next to you. Kept saying it over and over again because, I'm going to show you how we love to keep something going. Because you notice, when people come to you and say something, you don't say nothing. So they keep saying it over and over again, want you to say something. But what she didn't know her ugly, cracked out looking self, I was moving to keep you from spitting on me. Not because I wanted you to sit by me. She looked like a crackhead. But that's what we do. We want to keep a mess all the time. And that's how a lot of people get unalive. Around here starting trouble with people. And you know how, and a lot of these people get unalive, a lot of times it's retribution. Not that they just unalived an innocent person. Many times it's retribution. What you did was you messed with somebody and they caught you later. Or you messed with their mama, daddy, granddaddy, uncle, somebody, they caught you later. Or him and some of him or her, and some of their buddies caught you later. Leave people alone. Quit arguing with people when you don't have to. And quit wanting to argue. Many of us got that in us, wanting to argue. And we don't know how to argue and then tone it down. We just escalate and escalate. We don't know how to de-escalate. I'm going to tell you how the average black person argues. First, you come to the person all mean and nasty, and then the person says, when the person says something, the next thing you know, oh, F you! And so instead of talking about the issue, start calling the person all kind of names. The next thing you know, it escalate to a fight or somebody getting hurt or killed. That's how the average black argument go. And that was why many of the people of color, them, the black people from Africa and the islands didn't want to be around us. They saw no, we wouldn't. See, they came and been around to be around their ethnic groups. One thing Biden said during when he was running for president that I didn't agree with, he said that if there's going to be reparations, the Indians has to be included. And well, before he said that, he said one thing about the Hispanic people. This is what I meant to say. The Hispanic people, they have diversity. Black people don't have diversity. Now, he needs to shut up and talk what he know. Those people have nationality and ethnicity. They go and hang around the people of their nationality or ethnic group. We don't have that. All we have is race. That's how you wonder why Latinos can vote to have other Latinos deported. The Cubans wanted. See, we see them all as Latinos, cause like we see black people all as black people. The Latinos wanted the Cubans wanted the Haitians gone. Well, the Cubans also wanted the Mexicans gone. The Mexicans wanted the Venezuelans gone. They're all working against each other. I think all of them wanted the Haitians gone. But see, and Charlie Kirk, the one who first put that out, Donald Trump was repeating what he said about them eating the dogs and cats. He was repeating what Charlie Kirk said. But see, that's how they could do that. They were voting their ethnic group. But it was so stupid. Because see, them white folks, they don't care nothing about your ethnic group. You gotta look at who's running it. That's what you always have to look at, who's running it. They don't care about your ethnic group. All they know is you're not white. And they can't go after their favorite group right now, so they're coming after you. But we the favorite one they like to come after. See, you know why they came after Latinos? See, Latinos used to be the darling. See how diabolical these folks are, these white folks. Latinos used to be the darling of the groups in this country. They come here, pick the fruit, go back home in Mexico. You know, some of them stay. It's okay when that many of them at that time. Latinos, even when I was living in LA, they wouldn't vote for the black candidate. How that black woman got in, I don't know. But they changed it up some. Maybe the Latino women voted for, but I doubt the Latino men did. You know, the Latino women and the black people from that time around. The black women, they vote for, maybe have got it in. But to tell you the truth, I thought she was Latino, to be honest with you. The mayor of Los Angeles, she's a black woman. And what happened was they wouldn't vote for black candidates. But you know when it began to change? When Barack Obama ran. Because Latinos had always voted Republican. They voted for Barack Obama. And that's the time when they start talking about the browning of America. I like to say United States because Canada, Mexico, all that's America. But the browning of the United States. And they've been on the hit list ever since. Ever since they've been on the hit list. They're being punished. And you know what? We got another Reconstruction going on, just like we did when we started prospering right after slavery. They started Jim Crow, took all our jobs, and we had to go get jobs in the just menial jobs. That's why when welfare was first started, welfare was around a long time. Black people couldn't get it. You know why? You had to pay. They said you had to pay taxes into the system at that time. But see, black people had menial jobs and was mostly paid in cash. And they had to vote to let black people be able to get welfare. That's what they had to do, vote for black people to be able to get it. So, see, anything that's going to benefit people in this country is not meant for us. We may come in on it. They don't do nothing special for us unless it's something bad. We just come in on a good thing. They say, oh, abortion. They said abortion so black women could kill black babies. Another diabolical lie they talk about. You know what? It may have been some groups. There were some groups that did that, but not the government now, because I'll tell you why. Dorothy Height, black feminist Dorothy Height, she had to go to the Supreme Court. All her and Maxine Waters was in her first term in Congress. They had to go all the way to the Supreme Court so that black women could have abortions. So how is it? So it wasn't the government doing it, but if you can give it to everybody else, why leave black women out? I don't like the fact that 28 black babies was aborted and stopped us from growing as a people, but I would like to see it reinstituted in what we got now. That these women carry these dead fetuses in them and, carrying babies that they know are going to have a lot of problems. And this one woman, they had this, what's that pregnancy when the baby is growing outside of the fallopian tube and may kill the mother? Do you know if that's going on? She can't get an abortion. We need to get them out quick and get all that reinstituted. But we may not even have another election. I don't think we are, to be honest with you. Talking about we falling into a dictatorship, we already in one. Fascism, we already there. But look, but you got to use the real wording right. It's not, see, men always did vote. Abortion came up for vote every 4 years, just like the Civil Rights Bill did. It was always an automatic yes. And it was this time. Trump stacked the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court did it. Not the men voting on it. They always voted yes for it, and they would have this time. To say men telling women what to do with their bodies, that's the wrong word. They're just their fetus, not your body. You do everything else with your body. Use the right wording if you want to get things back straight. And it's because, of course, they're going to vote on it because men are going to vote on it. What you going to say? Women can only vote on women issues, black people on black people issues, white people on white people issues, Latinos on Latino issues. You know it don't work like that. Who's ever in those seats get to vote. So keep them on men telling Women, what to do with their bodies, you wasting your time with that argument. You know, they're telling you about that fetus. You see, not worried about your body when that fetus is not in it. But I do hope they reinstitute it because this is a mess they went through. But it's a mess they got this abortion thing, man. I'd rather see it back like it was. But you know who I always saw at the abortion clinic when I rode by it? White women. It was always white women. Sometime an old white man. One time I saw a black woman, so that don't even matter. Seen them one time, but I never saw a black man outside picketing the abortion. Some of you may have, but I never did. I came by that clinic at least about 3 times a week. I never saw a black man out there picketing. There'd be a lot of people out there. So old white men, but mostly white women. So that one black woman, I leave that out because that don't even matter. You're always gonna have somebody, you know. It may have been a black man out there one day, you know, but I just didn't see him. You see? So it always be somebody, you know. So I gotta just leave her out because it's like I left the black man out. Go. Somebody else may have went by one day and saw a black man. I just didn't see him, and they may have never saw a black woman. But when the numbers that low, no man, just scratch that. About the black woman, just scratch that. That's too low. One time in years, I'm sorry I even brought that up about her. One time in years, I think that's a good record. So I shouldn't even brought her up. Yeah, but yeah, that we was for it. The latest person against who protested against abortion was white females, and they was getting a lot of. I had a cousin who went to school. He was one of the first black kids to go to his school. It wasn't all that, you know, marshals marching him and all that. He was just there. He said, "Oh, he was surprised to find out those white girls, when black women weren't really getting abortions then. See, so many of them white girls was getting abortions. He said there was one white girl he know of had 4 abortions by the time she graduated high school. I guess she had a freshman abortion, that sophomore abortion, a junior abortion, and a senior abortion. Well, she would bring every year in with a bang, wouldn't she? Didn't she? Come on. That's ridiculous, isn't it? And then they talk about black women was using it for birth control. All women were. Yeah, I know it wasn't meant for that. All women were. But they always try to find the boogeyman. See, we're not as bad as they say we are. But they use our misbehavior or something that we're lacking in to build a case against us because we're not perfect. What people are perfect? I'm gonna give. Oh, I know I've been talking this now. I'm gonna leave here, but what people are perfect? Who do you know or what people? When you bring up their imperfections, they run like little cowards. I love when I talk to them face to face. But look, look, everyone has imperfections, they have inadequacies among their people. But we got to tell ours to everybody. We don't let them talk about it. We'll take it to them. You got black people talking about, well, you know, the slaves, owned slaves. You know, the Africans, they sold slaves. Oh, come on. I'm not the slaves, I'm saying. Black people owned slaves. Slaves owned slaves. And come on now. How many black people do you think owned slaves? But look, what if they did? Let's look at this. What people do you know of who people have went through atrocities or genocide, and those some of their people weren't collaborators and did the same thing that your oppressors did? No people had. No one has people who didn't help out. And it was the same with black people. You're going to have some who imitates the oppressor. Okay, say Africans sold slaves. Sold their people. That's what they said. No, they didn't. The Africans who they sold weren't their people. Remember what I told you? They have race. I mean, they just don't have race. They have nationalities and ethnicity. They didn't sell people. They sold their enemies who they was at war with of a different nationality and ethnicity. That's who they sold. And we got these prisoners here. We hate them anyway. We may as well make us some money off of this. So they didn't sell their people. I always use this scenario about, you probably heard me do it before, with Hitler. When Hitler went through Germany, killing white people, taking their land, they were all Europeans, right? All white people. Did they say Hitler was killing his people? No. You know why? Because they knew that Hitler's people were Germans. They weren't British, Polish, or French. They were Germans. They only bring that to us. But they don't act like everybody else should be happy and don't say nothing about what happened to them because some of their people participated. I often tell people about the Jews during World War II. Do you know that in World War II, there were Jewish people who was in the Nazi Party? So should they forget about what happened to them because some of their people participated? There was 280 to 300,000 known Jews in the Nazi army, helping to kill their people at Auschwitz. But do people tell the Jews when they talk about the Holocaust, oh, well, you shouldn't be talking about the Holocaust, you have anything to say about the Holocaust because there were some Jews who participated in the Holocaust? They wouldn't say that. You know why? They only bring that to us. So we supposed to be quiet about slavery because some of our people was they, they were um they were collaborators, but yet the Jews can't be quiet about the Holocaust because their people were also. All people are gonna have some of their people assist their oppressor, not just black people. But they make it seem that way though. Look, the they now they get this thing. Well, oh well, slavery existed for thousands of years. Genocide do also. Do you tell the Jews that when they talk about the Holocaust? You know, they had slaves over here. They had said, what they got to do with us? We were about right here. Well, we were slaves. That ain't got nothing to do with us. Let them people worry about where they were slaves at. We take care of here. So I think I better go ahead and call it a night. But look, um, but let's try to start trying to see each other in a different light. Quit looking at us through their eyes. Because we do some bad things on the individual level. As I showed you earlier, they do nice things on the individual level. We're nice as a people. They're diabolical as a people. I have to let some people go. When I find out they're friends at Charlie Kirk, I can't be around them no more. Because I know how they feel about me. They just don't come out and say it and just be friendly with me. I didn't even know who he was. But look, they are but look, if you all want to keep putting up praying hands for this man who was sacrificed, we say these deaths but the Second Amendment of sacrifices. If you want to keep putting up praying hands for the sacrifice and pray for his family and all, so I can't tell anyone else what to do. That's what you want to do. I'm not praying for nobody. I pray for the downfall of my enemies. The enemies against my people. See, I'm not like y'all. I see black people as my people. Maybe y'all don't. Maybe one day you will. And when they come at us like they think they're going to come at us, you don't want black people to be your people. Because these other folks not going to help you like they asking for us to help them. And black women, these black men you've been jerking your head away from all day long, you're going to look them in the eye now. Because you're going to need them. Because these other men not coming to save you. They don't even like you like that. And before I leave, let me tell you about that. Do you know that most white men can't stand black women? Because they can't stand black people. Say, oh, he had a black girlfriend. He liked black people. Uh, Klansmen had black girlfriends. The slave owner had babies with black women. I work with men who mess around with black women and then talk about them behind their backs. Do you know the code word that they have for black women because of our kinky hair? They call black women cactus coochie. They said that was their code word. Which they didn't say coochie though. They said something else. I'm just being nice. They don't say coochie. Black folks say that. But so they be sitting in the room. Yeah, I got me some cactus coochie last night, and sitting there laughing at the woman because you look at who want you by marriage, not by who will date you. Dating is nothing. People date anybody. I mean, when date used to be you take somebody out to dinner, take somebody to a movie or something. Now people act like dating is marriage. You date me, you gotta pay my electric bill and all that. Who gonna pay mine? I pay bills where I live. And you said your bill. But look, don't make it if you can't pay it. But look, that's what you stage about marriage because they don't like y'all like that. But I know y'all like them like that. Cause the white guys I know who will talk to black women, not always talking to them to get with them. Sometimes just be talking to them. They tell me every black woman they talk to tell me how much she hates black men. But you know the black men I know who deal with black women, they won't even let their white wife talk against black women. Now they know that, did you? See, black men don't deal with other women out of hate for black women. He get with them because they treat him better. And the white guys even come and say, a lot of other men have told me they said this, and man, y'all need to tell black women to stop hitting on us just because we white. They've said that. I'm not telling you just to put you down. Don't get me wrong. That's what I'm saying. It's just to let you enlighten you and let you know because you need to let them make a fool out of you because I don't want to see that. Now, if he really wants you, want to marry you, that's different. But see, the thing is, that was just one. I'm gonna say this before I go. There's one woman. Let's just show you my point. This one woman I know, she was dating this Arab or Arab, as you all say, and they really can't stand black women. They're like black women with big butts to have sex with. How many you see marrying you? I know one Arab guy I knew had a black wife. One out of thousands. But look, they she was dating this guy, and her and I were friends. I talked with her because she wasn't my flavor. Matter of fact, she tried to come on to me, but like I said, I ain't no Prince Charming. I see if I can't get the kind I want, I just don't listen to nobody. Like I told you earlier about the white mom. I ain't gotta be no Prince Charming. A man don't have to be. As long as this paper right here get married long before they find beauty queen. But look, So and I told him such this. He said, "Well, we going out tonight." I said, "Well, look, when we're at the places she told me, we're gonna pick up some drinks, and then we're gonna go to the motel." I said, "But that's where you always go. All you doing is taking you to the motel. How you just jealous?" I said, "Why I be jealous? You threw that man, I didn't get it. Why would I be jealous?" So I didn't see her for about 3 weeks. No, maybe longer than that. It been about a month or two. I finally saw her. She said, "Yeah, you was right." I said, "Right about what?" She said she had went out with that Arab one night, and she told her that she loved him. And this is a nice looking woman too. This wasn't my type. Cause you're nice looking don't mean you're my type. Cause I'm ugly, I can still be your type. That's how it goes. But look, the she said while he was coming home from the hotel, she told him that she loved him. He stopped the car and put her out. So like, love ain't got nothing to do with this. Don't call me, don't talk to me no more. She didn't see him, she haven't seen him since then. I hate that happened. Even though she brought it on herself, I still hate that happened. Cause you know why? One of them got on over on one of us. And I hate that. Cause I put them all together with white people. See, that's one thing white people didn't understand. They would think we supposed to be out there helping people of color with their buddies. See, they not our buddies. They hate us too. That's what white people don't understand. Some people of color hate us too. Now these Indians coming in here, I can't stand them. Can't stand the Arabs either. I can't stand none of them really, but what choice do you have? They control our economy. We just like Africa was. They we control it politically, they control it economically. Oh, let me tell you about that. Oh, just so much. Let me tell you about that before I go. Why they control the economy. It's not that we're inferior. It'll make you think that black people just can't have nothing. Now, have you heard black people say that? They have a system behind that. It's not us. It's them. I'm telling you, we're not these people they try to make us out to be. We're not no weak people. It's them. Here's why these other people have business in our community and we don't. See, now that all this hurting these other people now, they coming out telling the truth. This Asian woman came out and said when she went to get a business loan, the only way she could get the business loan, they told her she had to open up a business in a black neighborhood. But she couldn't get the loan, but she said, but a black person couldn't get the loan. I could, but they couldn't. And that's what they do with the Arabs. They give them loans to open a business in a black neighborhood where the black people can't get. Black people can open up a business in Belleville, Fairview Heights quicker than they can here. If I see the black people in North out there in North St. Louis County, they got businesses. And black people frequent their businesses. But see, it's a lot of things that work forces that work against black people behind. And you think you're just looking at the surface. That's why I wish I could have debated Charlie Kirk and put. I'm not really not for really debating these people gonna make him, but I would have him because the stuff I heard him say, he hit surface issues that's looking at the end of what they caused. I could have broke it down for him, but you get these your weedle noodle back black folks getting on there when talk about we need to all get along as one people. You're racist. I don't give a damn who's racist. I really don't care. I told white men before, I don't care who's racist. You don't have to like me. I don't like you, but I don't bother you. And you better not bother me and mine. Be racist how you want, by the time you F with me and mine, that's when it's going to change. But how you feel, I don't care. I feel the same way about you and yours. But see, I made said that to say the point that they have they give those people loans to open businesses in our neighbor excuse in our neighborhoods when we can't get them. So so that's I said this to let black people know we're not those mean evil people want to make us out to be. We got just as much going as anyone else. Anytime they left us alone and we was able to do our thing, we would start outpacing them. They burn it down. That's why we're going to another reconstruction period now. A black man became mayor president. That wasn't supposed to happen. And and could you hold on for a second? I'm gonna come back and sign off. I want to show you a point on something real quick. Okay, I'm back. Told you I just got no shingles and still scratching a little bit, but probably 100% in the morning. I'm not used to being sick. I'm not used to it. I'm never sick, but it happened this time. They say everybody has it in them. Has the virus in them. And you know what? I hadn't taken. You see, it also has to do with chicken pox. But people who've had chicken pox. You know what? Who has had what's that virus to take off? Flu vaccine. You know what? I never been sick or had any kind of virus like that until after I took that flu vaccine. I only took one flu vaccine in my life. And then this happens. But look, you ever see, we're not these people, we've been not been allowed to flourish as we should. We haven't been allowed to. I didn't put my cash app up tonight. Um, I'll do that next time. But look, we haven't been allowed to flourish as we should. We've been interfered with even with our minds. They were responsible for that. Because we came up under the same foolish white supremacist ideologies that they did. Let me say this before I go though. I can remember a time like if a black person committed a crime. Remember in the paper they used to say on the news, they said the suspect is a black male or black female. But when a white person committed a crime, it was a male. It was a female. Let me show you how they stacked the thing against even with crime. If you notice in the paper, I'm just I'm keep going on and on. In the paper that they could say they arrested a person who committed a lot of burglaries and break-ins in an area, in a white area. Then they're in the paper, he's been caught and he's been responsible for several break-ins in this area. But then when it comes to the black area, the guy there you have every time there's a break-in, they do that to protect your property value and let the people know it's still safe. Excuse me. But the black area, they'll put each one of those break pins in the paper separately every day, keeping a fresh thought in your mind that this place is dangerous. And when they catch the guy, they'll say he was responsible for several break-ins. But they don't tell you he was responsible for all those other break-ins they was putting in one at a time. They tell the black break-in each time it happened, but only tell the white break-in after they catch the person. See the dirty stuff they pull? It's dirty. And see, I better get on off of here before I think of something else. But look, I want to thank you for tuning in, but I want to let you know, though, we're some unique people. Even white people beginning to say they even making podcasts about how white people should listen to black people, especially poor white people. You saw the one I did last night where I showed you how a lot of them was living? Man, look, black people in the cities living in poverty, living in luxury compared to some of how them living out in those rural areas. You go to a black person's house that's dirty and nasty, living in poverty. Those white people wish they could have that. Out in those rural areas, man, those people living bad. But they make you think. You got a county in Kentucky, all white, MAGA country. 96% of the people are on food stamps and welfare. Now, you know, it was a black county like that. And they talked about East St. Louis, and it wasn't that high. And with black people, if you can get it, get it. They won't give you a reparation, just that's just a little down payment on small pocket change down payment. Anything you can get from the government, get it. But look, um, because if you look at the stuff I told you, the difference between us and them, you know we came out superior each time. See, if you expect us to be perfect, we're supposed to be inferior, but you can say inferior with no problem. Does that sound like a person who you think is nothing? You know what it sounds like to me? That they're trying to keep us fooled because they don't want to wake a sleeping giant. And with that, I'm gonna sign off. To the black folks, let's stick together. We can't be divided. Now this is a point in period of time. They're gonna make us stick together. They're gonna make us. So thank you for tuning in to No More Water Fire next time. And consider what I said. We're gonna have to be together on this one. We're not gonna make it. When that unmarked van pull up in this neighborhood where there's no immigrants, you ain't pulling none of these people up out of here. Y'all CCW, okay? Everybody who can before they stop that. If not, drive by 16, carry by 12. But look, but especially these women and children, because you don't know who those people are, and you don't know what they're gonna do to those women and children. Especially those women that's come here and grab a black woman up and put her. And look, let me tell you, she could be a crackhead, old crackhead. I don't care. You ain't taking her nowhere. They may end me, but y'all give it up, man. I better not go off into that. I'm going a little too far off into that, but we're going to have to protect these women and don't be protecting just the ones you like. I don't care if she's 80 years old. I don't care if she's a crackhead. I don't care if she just cussed me out. It's not about her. It's about us. So with that, I'm going to end it. Like I said, they don't want to wake that sleeping giant. They want to make you keep thinking you're inferior. So with that, I thank you for tuning in to No More Water Fire next time. I'm surprised I didn't get sleepy tonight. All this scratching going on, and maybe that's why I couldn't. All right. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Hmm.